Well, yellow, yellow, kiss a fellow. Oh, sorry. No, I'm not here to kiss any fellow. I'm not here to do anything like that. I just think that I look good today, my yellow with black and white. So that's just to perk you up. And yellow represents joy. So I want to talk about joy a little more and to get you into joyful times and help you to stop feeling that, hey, it's all done. So I want to cap off, and I am capping off this grief and loss thing here today because I want us to go forward. Now, when we have had these issues, and I want to address firstly when there's a loved one that has died, and there's a lot of issues now about appropriating of property. Who gets what? Who should get what? When should they get it? These things are real, especially when the person has not done anything in terms of a will, a letter, something, an affidavit, something that specifically identifies that these items, especially items that are valuable, the items that are sentimental, those things usually create its own catharsis in terms of who's going to fight for the money, the land, the car, this. There may be a lot of issues in terms of how we interpret the way forward here. So I want to encourage you to find some advice legally or to sit with family members and define the way forward in terms of what will happen when my loved one dies or when I have this loss, or even in terms of our work. Do we have insurances? Do we have annuities? So that there's some way of upkeep if I am left alone. So those things are virtually important and necessary for you to look at, and how we need to go forward and bring a resolution to what's happening. One of the things that I want to also encourage you to look at is the whole issue of bringing yourself outside of your house, which we talked about last session, and to get involved in art or get involved in aerobics. Did I say aerobics? Yeah. Journaling, writing. Of course, there's counseling, there's therapy, and there's social activity. Do you go out with friends? Do you want to go out with friends? And go out with friends, I think, is a very important factor in terms of how we are working out all the feelings and all the don'ts and do's and the hiding and the vomiting. So we want to look at that too, because of how we are processing you. Now, one of the things that are important, please, and I want to we talk a bit about this, but I am really reiterating. This is your safety. Where am I going to be safe, and how am I going to be safe? It's important. I think we need to look at that carefully. What makes my tomorrow substantial in terms of safety, and may I add the other word, security? Especially when they're females, being left maybe as a spouse or maybe as a mother with children, living alone, singly sometimes. How do I interpret safety? This person was my keep. This person watched over me. Now I'm all alone. So we need to see what safety does for us and how we are establishing that. So that for safety, how do I work out the trustworthiness and transparency? We talked a bit about that last time. Allowing somebody in your space to protect you, in terms of making sure you could cook, you clean, especially if you're elderly, or just to be a company. But how do you work transparency? How do you tell this unknown factor, whether it's a long distant cousin or some auntie or neighbor, your business, your heart, how you feel? We are not prone to say how we really feel. What are our emotions? We're not prone to vent out. Honestly. So we have to work on that issue of transparency. How am I willing, or how willing am I, better yet, to share me with an unknown? And that's where we have the problem of people who are in grief and yet not going through a grieving process because they're stifling all the emotions because they don't want people to know how they feel. Other than that, you don't want people to know your business because it may involve certain situations that would either legal, financial, that you may need to share. Are you willing to share that? And those things are important. How do I find peer support and mutual help? It's important for me to find that peer support. It's important for me, as I said last session, we have to trust somebody. We must be willing to trust somebody. And I want to really understand that. Now, within our societies, wherever you are, there are always public services that can be part of that self-help. Ministries of what we call social support, social services, family services, they offer support systems in terms of food, house, clothes, etc. Plus there are NGOs and NGOs, non-governmental organizations, faith-based organizations, community-based organizations. These are all willing and ready to help you. It's important for you to realize that you have the possibility of that kind of help as you go along. How willing, therefore, are you to collaborate? How willing are you to collaborate and find mutuality with somebody else? We talked about trust and worthiness just now. But it's important for you to find the environment for that, or agency. Haven't found it. Do I want to collaborate? Do I want to come in conjunction with you? That wasn't good English, was it? Do I want to come and join with you and say, yes, we have one heart, we are working, lest you are taken advantage of, lest you are being abused? All those things are real in terms of your own disposition and how you think about the way forward. But it's important to understand that these are important dynamics for us to look at. The other thing is empowerment. Empowerment. Who's in charge now? I was never in charge. Granny was, mommy was, daddy was, my boss was, but now I'm in charge. Am I ready to be in charge? Do I want to be in charge? Am I willing to be in charge? Oh, do I have what it takes to be in charge? These questions hit you. But I was hoping that would have been a question you would have asked yourself in your growing up. Because we're talking about self-awareness, we're talking about education, we're talking about empowering. But at the death of a person, a loss, we sometimes feel ourselves so vulnerable that we can't go forward. We don't have a voice. And how do I therefore make choices? Can I make choices? Am I in the place where I'm ready to make choices? So please, let's get this thing sorted out. I want to make a choice to buy a piece of land, to migrate, maybe to remarry. Am I in a place where I can make those choices? Now, the psychologist or the therapist will say, not just yet. You're vulnerable to so many different emotions, working out how you feel, how you don't feel. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down. You're still interpreting the loss, you're still angry, you're in denial, you're depressed. But somewhere there, sometimes some people have some kind of cognition that is able to work it. And that's why I'm saying that if you could find a group, have some collaboration, let's see how best we can work out in terms of coming to the place where we can have a voice and make a choice. Because you can lie down on a Thursday, but Friday you have a choice to make. Every day there's a possibility for choices. Every day. What to eat, what to cook, what to get up to go, who to call, who to WhatsApp, who to email. Choices. So it's important for us to identify how we are working this out. Now, one of the other basic things that I've left for last year, this just looking at the trying to find some principles that would help you your way forward. This issue of culture and history. We are bounded sometimes by what people say, what we do. I spoke about that, I think 2 weeks ago, with the culture of how I dress, how I don't dress. Should I be laughing? Should I not be laughing? Should I be staring? Should I not be staring? Should I go out? Where should I go? You had a date. Where are you going? You're laughing too much. There's those cultural issues that we still have to work out for your future, not just your present, for your future. And there's some historical issues sometimes comes up in terms of what people think is right and wrong. To me, there's no right or wrong. To me, Dr. Nyers, it's an emotion. And you have to find a way in really establishing that emotion credibly for your future. And what about gender issues? Should I pause here? Gender issues. You know, when I had my loved one, I used to be able to say, the man does this, or the woman does that, or I am not supposed to. But let me say this. Now you're all alone. Are you willing to do something that gender dictates that you don't do, or you do? And so, for me, gender has to do with roles and responsibilities. If right now your role has changed in context, the responsibility is still there, but you have to learn how to predetermine what you are saying and how best it is going to be interpreted for your good. I see gender as roles and responsibilities. This is your functionality. So it's not about me not being able to carry the garbage, who cooks or who don't cook. I never done it before. That was mommy, that was husband. We try to always find a way of how we cannot do things because it's not male or female. Here it is, after death, you are caught as a single person, whether spouse with mother or with children, sorry. You have to re-establish what you consider as function. So you just cannot not do, otherwise you will not have. You can't just decide to abdicate because you will be frustrated. So it's important for you to see the need to re-establish your function and to understand where we are going with this thing and how we are working out these cultural and gender issues that continue to mitigate the whole process of our growth and our transitioning into a healthier life. Notice I said healthier life. So we need to work out how we are doing this. So I need to sit down and see how I am me in terms of my loss, how best I can be for tomorrow, how best I can do something that I didn't do last week. Oh, I never did that. I have been told, and recently, and I know even as I get down to the later years, I need to start sharing because the things I do with my spouse. Because some people are clearly functional in terms of you handle finances, you handle groceries, you handle this. If something happens, the people who don't handle the other thing, how do you get to know? And so, therefore, it's important for us, and this may be in hindsight, how did I share or how did I not share in terms of where I came from and where I'm going? So, it's important for us to define, or rather redefine our function and see how best it's working for us. I am seeing myself helping you here to plan and to come to the position where the things I never did, I can do them now. The things I need to do, I have to do them. No matter who say, what, how. This is not about culture. This is about survival to go into thriving. I need to move out of surviving to thriving. I need to address my next move, where I'm going, how I'm going. It's important, therefore, for me to really find that family member and sit down with them and say, hey, this is where we're at. This is what has happened. How can you help? It's important to find that friend and say, hey, I'm willing to trust you. We have to move out of where we are in order to go forward. Now, I have to learn also to handle the criticisms that are coming my way when people see me changing. I remember a guy years ago wanted to get married within 8 months of his wife's death. But he was ready. I can't deny it. But the criticisms were so much. He was wondering, these friends that are now battering him and badgering, did they really love me all the time? Were they really concerned? So some of us are capped, or that's a bad word. Some of us are caged, some of us are trapped in our own cultures, and we want you as the victim, you as the griever, to conform to what I think. So we didn't do that. That's not how it is done. That's not what people do. You have to wait. You have to do. Don't forget memorials. Excuse me. Let the person, tell the person, hey, allow me to live out my own emotions in a way that I can handle. It's important for us to find that positivity in terms of supportive and understanding people that creates that necessary environment that takes us forward. I want to help you really. And I trust for the last couple sessions, I think it's about 2 months, of helping you to redefine these concepts that bring you into the position of true healing in terms of loss and grief. You know, we cannot bring back or reverse time. And that's where loss is. Loss is squarely fitted in time. It's not in a space, it is in time. And you cannot get into a time capsule and reverse yourself backwards. We have to therefore re-establish new time frames, new time elements in terms of how we are going to discern the future in its revelation of care, security, love, growth, development, establishing yourself as a citizen again with that joy. Yes, I did say I was talking about joy. But you see, this is where the joy is. The joy is not just in a crack and a joke. The joy is really in coming to the place where we are at peace with ourselves, peace with our loss, and going forward with peace into our future. It's so important to re-identify and reevaluate. And sometimes say, hey, the better place might be me, rather than the person who's dead. because I'm able to reevaluate myself and redefine my options for where I need to be as a person for tomorrow. Whatever country you are in, whatever religion you belong to, whatever ideologies you have, it's all about you and your feelings, your emotions that needs to be overcome, that you go forward into this new space of resilience and joy. It is time, and we'll have time. I'm not giving you a time frame, but it will be time. It is time to begin to put things into motion that you will say, wow, like this, there is no hope. There is hope. And you will find value in going forward to establish who God is and what God does. So I want to leave this with you. Change is inevitable. Can I say loss is also inevitable? You know, I had a haircut this week. I lost hair. People find, oh, you look nice. Some years ago, I lost weight. Oh my gosh, somebody was in trauma. They wanted my weight back. People have all kinds of experiences and feelings and interpretations about what loss is. You have something good with your fat belly. It's amazing, yes. So I had to learn how not to respond to their desires and learn to work with my desires and appreciate that my concepts of change are necessary for my future, my health, whether it's mental, physical, but more so social, environmental. I want to be able to walk out my house, lift up my head and say, hey, there's a tomorrow for me and I'm going to enjoy it. So citizens of whichever country, it has been wonderful sharing with you on loss and grief. Some of you may have had some triggers while we talk, but that's okay. Find a counselor. Again, nationmind2021@gmail.com. Write me a note. Say what you feel. Put a comment in the chat in the YouTube. Let's hear what's happening with you. Give me some ideas, what you want to hear, what you'd still like to hear. But we want to keep connected. Remember, we are moving into a trustworthy environment that we can have some more confidence about where we're going. This avenue is one of those. I'm here to bring enlightenment. I'm here to establish your feet on a different ground that brings you success and brings you joy. So, joy is not in the eating and drinking. No, it's in the Lord. It's in His peace and in His love. God bless you. Have a great week. See you next podcast.